Hi, Roxy Keller here again, and I am continuing to bake my way through the Great British Baking Show challenges, and I'm on week 2 of the season from 2017, and this is the technical challenge. So the technical challenge for this week is for the contestants to make 12 fortune cookies. 6 of those will be almond flavored and 6 will be orange flavored. So in addition to making the fortune cookies, they also had to write 12 fortunes. So I actually just typed some up and printed them out. So for example, you are very talented in many ways. Those are what my fortunes are like. This can be really fun activity to make these or to have them at a party, and you can make a lot of fun fortunes to put in your fortune cookies. This is actually quite a simple mixture, and I think the challenge is mostly with folding the fortune cookies correctly. The contestants were not shown any pictures about how they should look in the end, and unless you see fortune cookies all the time, it may not be as clear in your mind as you think, but I have pictures so I know what they're supposed to look like. So my challenge will just be to bake them correctly and to decorate them correctly. So we'll see how it goes. Let's get started. The almond fortune cookies will be dipped in white chocolate and have a little bit of chopped toasted hazelnuts. So the first thing I want to do is toast those hazelnuts. I do have chopped hazelnuts. I'll probably chop them a bit more. I need 50 grams. So I have a small baking sheet, and I'm just going to weigh out 50 grams of chopped hazelnuts. That seems like quite a lot for 6 almond flavored fortune cookies, but I'm sure we can just eat them. They'll be delicious. The oven is currently set to 300 degrees Fahrenheit for the fortune cookie batter to bake. So I'll just bake these at that same temperature. Again, I have an internal oven thermometer to make sure the temperature inside is what it says outside. These will go in for probably 7 or 8 minutes. Now I want to make the batter, and I need 2 egg whites. And 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I need to whisk these together without creating too much air. It just needs to be blended. So it says frothy but not aerated. Doesn't froth come from aerated mixture? The nice thing is I don't have to use the stand mixer. Now I'm going to weigh out and sift the dry ingredients. I need 65 grams of all-purpose flour, or plain flour as the British call it. 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch, and a pinch of salt. I'm going to weigh out an 1/8 teaspoon. Sift that. Now it says to add the egg white mixture to the dry mixture and beat that again without building up too much air. I forgot the sugar. I need 100 grams of what the British call castor sugar. So castor sugar is just granulated sugar that's milled to a smaller particle size. Let's see if those nuts are toasted. They are toasted, little bits of brown on the white, so I'll let that cool down and then chop them more finely. I just poured them out onto a paper plate, and I'm going to put that in the freezer so they'll cool quickly. So castor sugar is just like our granulated white sugar, except the particle sizes are a little bit smaller. They call it superfine sugar, and granulated sugar will work just fine with this. However, a few months ago, I actually bought some superfine sugar. They call it ultrafine, so I'm going to use that. 100 grams of sugar. Now I'm going to stir that with a spoon. You do have to mix it quite strongly in order to get the lumps out, which there shouldn't be lumps, but here's the texture. Okay, so now I need to divide the batter in two, because again, half will be almond and half will be orange. I weighed this bowl ahead of time so I can see how much batter I have. So that's 266 grams of batter. So I'll put about 130 in this bowl because you never seem to get all of it. So to the batter that's going to be the almond, I'll add 1 teaspoon of almond extract and mix. That does seem like a lot of almond for this little bit of batter. Now for the batter that will become the orange, I need to take out a couple of tablespoons of batter and put it in a piping bag, because we'll use this to make a little bit of decoration on the fortune cookies. It says 2 to 3 tablespoons. That's probably about 2. To the orange batter, I'll add 1 teaspoon of orange extract. I did wash that teaspoon off so it wouldn't have the almond flavor. And finally, to the orange, I'll add a bit of orange food coloring. This one is called electric orange, so it should be quite vibrant. Yes, that will be quite vibrant. So that's all there is to the batter. And I think, again, another challenge is using just enough of the batter to make the fortune cookie, but not so much that you don't have enough to make all 6. I've made a template with 2 circles that are each 8 centimeters in diameter. The instructions say about 9 centimeters. Mine are 8. I will spoon into each circle some of the batter and swirl it around. I'm only doing 2 at a time because once they come out of the oven, I have to fold them or add the label, then fold them, and then fold them again to make sure they form the correct shape. And I have to do that rather quickly. I might be able to do 4 at once, but for the first time, I'm just going to try 2 and see how it goes. Remember, I had about 130 grams of batter. I'm going to try just putting 20 grams in each circle and see if that's enough. Pretty decent. So they also said this was about 2 tablespoons. That's probably about right. I need to bake them for, it says 10 to 15 minutes until the edges are just brown. We want them to still be flexible so that I can fold them. Okay, so after 10 minutes, they were pretty dry, but they weren't golden brown yet. And I gave it 2 more minutes, and it gave just a slightly golden brown edge. So I'm ready to try folding. So it says to lift the cookie off. It's gonna be hot. Lift the cookie off the silicone mat and place in one of the fortunes, fold it, pinch the edges together. I think I need to fold it the other way, it might be a little stickier. Fold it, pinch the edges together, mine broke, and then fold it this way to make the cookie shape. Maybe the next one will be better. But place them in a cupcake tin to help them hold their shape until they cool. Let's see if this one does any better. It still broke. Maybe I overbaked it? Okay, well, I anticipated being quick enough that maybe I could do 4. So I've already prepared a second set. So I have 2 of these templates underneath, and now I'll bake these. I think I'll only do 10 minutes and just take them out even if they're not quite golden brown, and see if that keeps them from breaking. Okay, so I baked these for 11 minutes. So we'll see if they fold any better. While I was waiting for these to bake, I started searching online for troubleshooting tips. And basically what I found was that most of the other recipes result in a much thinner batter. So I've added 1 tablespoon of water to my orange batter, and hopefully that will work a little better. This one's definitely not going to work. It's already falling apart. Tomorrow will be a better day. Let's hope the next fortune cookies will be a better bake. Baking for a shorter amount of time is clearly not the answer. That one almost worked. One thing I do like about this recipe is that it uses flavorings other than vanilla. Most of those online have a vanilla extract flavoring, and almond is fun. Certainly the orange ones would be fun if they turn out. So if you recall the texture of the last batter, this one's much thinner. And hopefully that'll be better, we'll see. Since I had to take some of the batter out, this is going to be a little thicker, but I'm only going to use 15 grams for each of these. I'm also going to spread them into a circle that's a bit larger than the 8 centimeters. Hopefully thinner will be better. It probably doesn't matter if the circles are perfectly round, since you can't really tell that once they're folded. those are going in the oven for 10 minutes. While those are baking, I'm going to chop up the hazelnuts, the toasted hazelnuts, into finer pieces. I want to chop them just enough that they become small chopped pieces, but not so much that it turns into hazelnut butter. I forgot to put the little white dots on my orange fortune cookies. So I have some extra batter. We'll see what I can do with it. I'm going to remember on these. Okay, so to decorate the orange ones, I was supposed to do this with the other ones. I'm going to cut off a small tip and make 6 dots around the edge. Okay, so that one has 7. Then it says to take a cocktail stick, but I don't have that, so I'm using a toothpick to put the toothpick in one of the white dots, draw it to the next white dot, and do that around. It actually looks quite pretty. Okay, since I have a bit of this left, I think I'll add it back in here and add some water and then make a couple more. Okay, I let those go for 12 minutes, bake for 12 minutes, and got a little bit of a bubble in the middle. But hopefully, because they are thinner, they'll come up more easily and fold more easily. They smell very orangey. Well, they didn't break. Much better. Definitely need water in the recipe. Uh-oh. This one lost its fortune. These would have been so much prettier with the white dots. But I'm so happy that they are not breaking. Okay, so I'll put the next batch in and that will be it. While those are baking, I'm going to go ahead and melt some white chocolate, and I just have white chocolate chips. It calls for 150 grams, but I don't think I need that much. I'm just heating up and going to melt 100 grams. Okay, so I melted the white chocolate in the microwave, and my fortune cookies are definitely not going to be crisp, but they'll still be tasty and they'll still have a fortune in them. So the idea is to dip these in the white chocolate, just the ends. It's very thick. And then into the hazelnuts. It's more fun than the plain ones you get. My white chocolate is kind of thick. I think I could probably add a little bit of coconut oil to make it a little thinner, and it still tastes good. So I didn't need that much hazelnuts, and I still barely used half the white chocolate. And I would kind of call this a fail, but I'm blaming that on the recipe. I think the recipe needed water, and they needed to be spread much thinner, as you could do with very thin orange ones may not be snappy, but they're definitely not breaking like those did. Okay, so 12 minutes, and now you can see the white decoration. We'll see how that looks. I hand wrote a couple of extra fortunes since I had extra cookies. Hot, hot, hot. This little tiny one is for my husband, so I wrote an I love you. Little tiny fortune cookie. Probably be the best one. That was an odd shaped one. Okay, I will let those cool and then finish up. Okay, so definitely not a great success, but I'll try again. And next time I'll make the batter thinner for sure. I will spread them a little larger. I could reuse my templates, but these are only 8 centimeters. I think I'll make circles that are 10 centimeters to make sure I spread them really thin. And yeah, so even though they aren't perfect, I completed the challenge in the 2-hour time period that was allotted. They look decent, so hopefully I wouldn't be in last place. And like I said, I'm gonna try to make them again. They are certainly edible. They aren't going to crunch like a fortune cookie typically does, but I think they will taste good. So next time is the Showstopper Challenge, which is the big, fun Showstopper presentation. And this being Biscuit Week, the challenge is to make a board game using cookies. And I have to come up with the game. It has to be at least 40 centimeters in diameter and be able to play it. So tune in and see.